Wednesday's an important day. It's going to be Wednesday evening. Nvidia will do their earnings report, and I want to protect the profits that I've got in Nvidia. And so I've done a deep dive as to what is the current situation and what can I expect on Wednesday evening, and then again on Thursday and Friday. So I want to protect myself, but I also want to be knowledgeable. I want to understand exactly what is happening. So I want to share that with you. And I've actually written an article about it where I've gone through the full report on where Nvidia is and what might happen. And I'll make that available to you. You can get a copy of it just by going to the link in the description and giving me your email address, and I'll send it promptly to you. What's the current risk? Well, I think Nvidia's had a good run up. There is no doubt that it has the current chip of the future. The question is, will someone else affect it? What might that effect be? And that's what I want to take up today. The first concern is the delay of the Blackwell GPU. It was scheduled to come out in December, and now it's said they're pushing it back to some time after the first of the year. That creates some concern. That basically says we've got some inventory of the prior chip, but the new one's not available. I would think that might make some people say, well, let's pause that purchase order. In further review of their first quarter earnings report, I discover or am reminded that they reported a 21% decline or slowdown in the order of their chips within their gaming unit. And that was also supported by projections by PD Research indicating that shipments had declined by 24.6% in GPUs in the first quarter of the year. Then you have the competition from AMD. AMD has a chip which they call the Radeon RX 7000, which competes directly with Nvidia's GeForce RTX 40 series. They've also announced that they have their next generation RDNA3 architecture, which is expected to be launched in late 24 and early 25, promising significant performance and power efficiency improvements. They have another chip called the Radeon RX 8000, which is expected to be introduced in late 2024. So they're basically coming in. The other thing then that comes into play relative to AMD is price. Their random RX 7000 XT, the current flagship, is priced at about $999, which compares to Nvidia's GeForce RTX 4080, which is priced at $1,199. So about, what's that, $200 more. Then you have the Radeon RX 7800. It's its mid-range GPU priced at $499, which compares to Nvidia's RTX 4070, which is priced $100 more at $599. And then they're reporting, or sources are reporting, some data center headwinds. We need to recognize that 40% of their revenues in the first quarter of 2024 came from data center sales. So we have to take into consideration, with this delay of the future and some big spending, that Amazon and Microsoft and Google have started to reduce their orders in anticipation of better GPUs that aren't available yet. In addition, we've got AMD's introductions, as well as Intel's Xeon CPUs have gained traction in the data center market, potentially reducing Nvidia's market share. So these are the concerns that I'm dealing with, and saying I'm not so sure that Nvidia is going to continue on this run that it's had, at least in the short term. And so I need to protect my gains that I have, and thus I need to take a strategy. But before I do that, what I want to do in tomorrow's video is take a little longer term look, and I want to share with you the analysis work that I have done where I'm projecting a future price. If you've heard the name of Stanley Druckenmiller, a very famous investor of the past, he shares the concerns I have, that there are some short-term headwinds that could affect this current earnings call, but he shares with me the long-term projection. So those are my short-term concerns. Now, what I want to do in tomorrow's video is take a look at my long-term outlook. I have projected a price that I believe Nvidia will be at in 2027. That'd be January 1st, 2027. And I want to take you tomorrow through the analysis work that I have done. And then on Wednesday, I want to bring Trent and Mark into the equation and look at some technical analysis and say, based on the charts and what's happening, where are the resistance levels? How is the MACD? What's the relative strength? And what just might happen Thursday and Friday and the coming weeks? And what should we do as investors to protect our investment? And what are the option markets telling us? So that we have, as we go into Wednesday evening, we have a firm understanding of what Nvidia's situation is, what our risk level is, and what we might do to protect our gains. Or should we just hold and anticipate higher prices in the short term? As I say, I'm not the only one who has concern. I am very happy to find that Stanley Druckenmiller shares these concerns with me, and that possibly he and I are going down the same path. Let's talk about this, and again, if you want the full report, go to the description and find the link to, it's going to say, the heading is going to say NVIDIA's earnings preview, and you'll get the article. It's a 2-page article that I have written, and then you can come along on Tuesday and Wednesday and follow exactly what we're talking about. This is the kind of research that I do. This is what I think I want to introduce you to so that you can make some better investment decisions. That's one of the 3 goals that I have for you. The second is for you to keep more of what you make. Number 1, protecting your earnings, but also learn the tax code so that you hold these assets where you pay the minimum amount of taxes on your capital gains in the future. And then most important, to give you some strength and some assurance that you can build family wealth. So when you leave this earth, you leave your family in a better position than but when you arrive. Those are my 3 goals. I'm Kerry Grinkmeyer. I'm a retired financial advisor, and I want you to become a better investor. So join our community. I call it a tribe, and get your copy of this article. So as we move into Wednesday evening, you have a firm understanding of what your position is and how you're going to protect it. Talk to you again tomorrow about my analysis of their financial condition and where I think in the long term NVIDIA's price will be.